Good morning, Flosstube. My name is Laura, and I'd like to welcome you to Stitching by the Shore, my channel all about cross stitch with a little bit of paper crafting thrown in. If you are new, I want to say welcome. Thank you so much for pressing play and giving my channel a try. I hope you like what you see. Hit like, subscribe, all of that good stuff. And if you are a returning stitching friend, as always, thank you so much for spending some time with me and maybe stitching along with me and just sharing the love of stitching. Thank you. So I'm starting a little late this morning. I was a little lazy this morning. Now that the mornings are darker, I find I'm a little bit slower. If I don't get up at 5 a.m. or 4:30 a.m., if I don't wake up then, I find that I take a little time to actually get myself up and moving. So that's all right. It's just a little bit of a slower, casual start today. So I, this past week, put out a Finish With Me video, and I'm going to show you the two pieces I finished, but if you'd like any of the details, all that information can be found on that video that was released maybe Tuesday, I don't remember. It's Finish With Me number 3, and I think it's titled Silver Mist because of one of the products I used. All right, so real quick to show you. As a reminder, if you're new, artist trading cards, ATCs, are 2.5 by 3.5 little works of art of any kind. I have been incorporating stitching into mine, and I have been trading with people. And as always, if you would like to give it a try and trade with me, just reach out. Alrighty, so the first one I have is titled Pumpkin. It's just titled Pumpkin. It's a pumpkin ATC. So that's what it looks like there. Let me see if I have a piece of yellow cardstock that should go nicely against it. And that'll block me out too. So that's what it looks like right there. I had a lot of fun making these and trying out a new technique with the spray. And I did mention in the video about markers that worked on black. My silver marker had run out. It did run dry, but I did have a gold one from Stampin' Up, so you can see. It writes quite nicely on the back. Again, I don't know if Stampin' Up still sells them, but I am sure there are lots of places you could look for them otherwise. Okay, and then the second one, again, it's just called Scissors. And that's what it looks like right there. So again, this is almost a full size of the ATC. And so I just adjusted how I would do my finish. Alrighty, so those are in the queue to be sent out, and I will continue stitching more and more because I'm having so much fun with just doing those little tiny pieces of stitching. And like I said, if you want to find out about materials or how I did it, just check the video. Okay, stitching. I have quite a few projects that I touched this week. I have been, well, except for my 25/7 piece, which, you know, is 25 minutes a day, and my full coverage, which I try to aim for maybe 100 stitches a day. Other than that, during the course of the week, it's not like I work on something one day and maybe don't work on it again, because I basically find bits and pieces of my day to stitch. So it's not like I sit down and from 9 to noon stitch, eat lunch, whatever. I'm going back and forth. I throw in workouts, I throw in errands, I throw in appointments, I throw in other things that have to be done. I clean the house once in a while, all that good stuff. But whatever I'm doing, if I have a pocket of time, I sit down and I try to do a little bit of stitching. So I have 10 projects for you this week, but that's only because I had two very quick finishes. Normally it would be hard for me to touch 10 projects in a week. And of the projects that I do, I try during the week to get about 500 stitches in them, and then I count them as, okay, I got some good progress with it. Sometimes I do more if I'm really into it. Every once in a while, if I'm running out of time, it might be a little bit less, but that's generally my guideline for when I put a project away for a week. And like I said, very often it could see work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, if I have a little bit of time here or there and I just pop in some stitches. Okay, so the first one is Forest. Ooh, let me put that, we have a few extra names from the giveaway that fell underneath there. Forest from Satsuma Street. I like to show both sides because this one's a little bit of a closer picture, and then the back shows you it a little bit farther away so you can see it in full. I'm doing it in all the called for DMCs. I mean, I'm not sure, why would I choose it otherwise, right? And I mean, she does a great job when she overlaps things. For example, all the different trees overlapped have different colors because it's like you're combining the two colors in some way or shape or form. My goal has been to try to get for this one, I kind of went away from the 500 to a certain degree. If I could finish a tree in that stitching week, I would. I'm currently on this big giant tree and there's just no way. That's probably double the amount of stitches. So you'll see it's only part way done. And that's where it happened to be. Everything else to the left has been finished. So here we go. This, is it upside down? No, it's right. This is done on an 18 count Friendship Green by Fabrics by Stephanie. You know, I'd used this for a few projects and then I kind of put it aside, but I've pulled it out for a few more projects and I'm really realizing an 18 count. Now remember, all the different things would die differently. I really, really like how this green shows up. It's a very nice background green and goes well with a lot of colors. So obviously I was just working on this tree. I think at this point, so over here will be a different color because it combines with the tree next to it. All of this is all one color. So hopefully that will go fast. And then I have the tree trunk, which should be one color. So I'm hoping next time I pick this up, the next session, my goal would obviously to be finish this tree. And then you can see where I'm going next. We've got, which way am I going? This way. We've got a little tiny tree and then we have a big giant tree. So we'll see. I don't know if I would, depending, I might be able to do this one and then the small one right next to it next time. So that's Forest from Satsuma Street. This would most likely, I love it. And this is a case where I don't think I would finish this to be put out. This would definitely go in my stitching scrapbook because I chose it because I enjoyed it, but I don't necessarily need or want to display it. So that's where having the stitching scrapbook has given me the freedom to stitch patterns that I've wanted to, but haven't necessarily known what to do with them afterwards. All right, so I'm trying to decide, maybe behind me here, I'll put some of the projects. Okay, I guess I could have turned this way. Next, I have my full coverage. So let's just put this. I finished, yesterday was the last day of my 10-day rotation with this. So today, I'm skipping a day. Today I will start something new. This is Hidden Harbor. It's charted by Heaven and Earth Designs and the artwork is by Andy Russell. And I'm still on the top. What's funny is several of my patterns are minis. Now this one is not a mini, but by Heaven and Earth Designs, it's relatively small. It's 415 wide by 318 high. So it's still nowhere near some of the giant, Heaven and Earth, but it is quite a substantially bit wider than some of my minis, especially if my minis are more of a vertical orientation rather than horizontal. So at this point where I am, I would have gotten to the corner, but I'm not. I did focus on, I said, oh, maybe I can get all the way across. No, it's too far across. But I did first off, since I've seen you, I really did try to focus on coming across. And let me fold this over to show you. And we got into some beautiful jade greens over there. So we went from seafoam to an in-between to a deeper jade, and it's beautiful. The colors in this are astounding. And those greens are different than what's over on this side in some cases. Not all of them. But if you love color and you like full coverage pieces, this uses so many beautiful, beautiful, beautiful colors. So first off, I went this direction, and then I kind of realized there was no way. I mean, look at how much, even, I'll see the light off of the white, even with a margin of 2 inches, we're still quite a bit ways. I think I have a good 1.5 pages at least over. So when I realized that that wasn't possible, I came back to this general area. I think I did a little bit in the blues, and then I have been working on some more of these. And yesterday I decided I wanted to add a little bit more of that next mountain. So we have mountains here. So I picked a color basically for the day, and I got my 100 stitches in just that one color. And what was good was it was up here in a few little pieces of confetti, so I was able to fill that in, and then I came down and worked on that. So there we go. This is where this one will be put away now, but this is where it stands right now. And this is an 18 count white Aida, 2 strands over 1 full cross. I think I know what I'm picking up next. You'll find out next week. And again, I really enjoy this 10-day rotation. I feel like, you know, I get a minimum, I try, of 100 stitches. If I'm on a roll with a strand or in a spot, I might get between 100 and 150. So in the course of 10 days, I'm getting over 1,000 stitches on the piece. So I feel like it's a little bit of something. I know how many stitches these pieces have, but I think it's, you know, progress, baby steps, right? It's the journey. It's most definitely the journey. If you haven't learned that about me yet, I am basically, what would it be, process stitcher. It's the actual stitching that brings me the joy. I'm enjoying finishing my ATCs. I'm enjoying finishing, I am starting to design some scrapbook pages, which I am enjoying doing. And I have a few finishes once I get some shelves up, or some items that I will finish once I get the shelves up. But that's secondary, quite frankly. To me, it's just the actual act of stitching that I enjoy. Now, this one will get finished and will be put up on my shelf when I do get it. It's called Colorful Dog, and it is from Wonderland, Ukraine. And this is my Shamrock piece, and I am stitching this for my 25/7 piece. So for 25 minutes a day, 7 days a week, Shamrock gets work on it. So every single day he gets some work. And depending, if I'm watching a 40-minute Flosstube, I just stitch the entire time on him. I don't stop partway through and say, okay, that's it, 25 minutes. But I don't do like a full huge chunk of time just on him. I do just a little bit each day. And for those of you who are interested, so today is Friday, October 7th. And right now, Wonderland Ukraine is having a 25% off sale. So this little guy right here is normally $9, and he is $6.75. It's a wonderful pattern if you've thought about stitching it. I love the colors. It does very much remind me of my little guy, which is also part of the joy. But he is, I think, fingers crossed, by stitching this every day, I might have him finished next week. I am so excited. So I did all of his eye, all of that area is done. And then down here and coming on down, I think, yeah, right here, down here is a lot of greens. This is done on 18 count Honeydew Melon from To Die For fabrics. And now you can really, really see him. I'll have to find a picture of Shamrock when he looked, you know, he, at various times, depending on haircuts and stuff, he looked very different, because we would definitely cut him, you know, puppy cuts and all of that when he needed a haircut. We didn't keep him long haired. But depending on if he was in between, at certain points, he would have that kind of that tufty sort of face, and he'd be super cute. So when I finish this, I'll have to look through, see if I can find a good one, and I can show you how much this reminds me of Shamrock. Alrighty, so maybe that one will be finished next week. I don't have any idea what my week's looking like, so I'm not even going to speculate whether or not I will be able to, but that's the goal. We'll see if it happens. Okay, next. This is a finish and not a full finish. That it's a project that's going to need a little bit of sit down thinking, but the stitching is finished. So this is Halloween calendar from Tiny Modernist. And I was on the very last day. If you are new, I'm stitching all of these as single days, 1 through 31. And this is it. I was on the last one and I got it finished. This is why this and the next piece, they didn't have a lot of stitches left. So that's why I got those 2 extra pieces in. Normally, like I said, 10 pieces in the course of a week. That would be a lot of stitching. There it is. I mean, tiny, tiny, tiny. This is an 18 count storm from Picture This Plus. Now, I'm not going to show you all 31, but I am going to just, again, remind you of what I did was I picked 4 different colors of fabrics, and 3 were the main focus, and then I did pick black for some. So some of them were, this happens to be, I think it's Haunting by Fabrics by Stephanie. And I have multiple days and projects on that. Then we had Midnight Tryst by Fabrics by Stephanie. And again, whoops, that's the back. There you go. That's all of them. Then this was a bigger, I just have everything on this one. Yes, that one is going to cause me problems, I know, finishing it and cutting it out, but this is the Storm by Picture This Plus. And then I did 5, so this one plus these 4 plus 1 more on black, because they really, what drove it, what the driver was day 15. If you look at the pattern, there was no way I was stitching all of that when I could stitch on black. So that's what I did. And then I started to look, before I started the project, I said, oh, well, if I'm doing 1 on black, what other ones could I do? And that started then with the day 9 and went from there. Now, I did this 1 just for some variety. 2, I thought potentially of making some sort of banner, which I don't think I'm going to do. I think I prefer the tree, especially now that I have that Hirschner's tree. But basically here you have the 4 colors. And I did want some variety in, you know, we have black, we have gray, we have kind of a deeper blue, and this is gray like, but it's also purple-based gray. So that's just an idea. It is done. I can't believe it. I am so proud of myself, because there were many a week, once I started this back up this year, when I said, I'm just going to keep stitching every week on it. There were many weeks I thought about, I don't really feel like it. And I kept at it, and it's done. So again, I do have to figure out exactly how the backs will be finished, in the sense of, am I making them so small, or do I want a second layer? I might just make them the size of them itself, which would make the job a lot easier than just back them up with some felt or something along the lines, and then they probably could all fit on the tree. We'll see. Still not going to get done probably for Halloween this year. Alrighty, next. This was the other one that was almost finished. Excuse me. From last week. So let me show you what you get in the pattern. This is Autumn Littles from Waxing Moon Designs. I bought it as a PDF. And you get 6 littles. And I am stitching, or I stitched this time, the little fox. I didn't stitch the border, and I purposely didn't stitch the leaves because I have a reasoning with that finishing wise. I think either the owl or the raccoon will be next. I really enjoyed stitching it. It didn't take me very long. I know it was over the course of 2 weeks, but that's because I started it late that first week. Here it is. Isn't it cute? I don't know if that's showing up blurry or if my glasses are just smudged. This is done on an 18 count. It was a white fabric, and I coffee tea dyed it. So again, no border, no leaves. This will be finished as an ATC, and I have an idea on that one. So probably not enough to do a finish with me video. I think I'll just work on it when I do some finishing stuff and then show you in a video. But more of those to come. I don't know how much I have of this coffee tea dyed. I did like the colors on it. If I have more, I may use it because I'm not sure I would use it for my regular stitching. I know that was a scrap that I had found. Okay, next. All right, this is Autumn Towne. Whoa, every time I move it, it switches. And this is from Autumn Lane Stitchery. Super exciting news. Another stitchy friend who is stitching these sent me a message on Instagram and confirmed, because Autumn Lane themselves confirmed directly to her, that there will be more seasons, that this is not the only one, but there are absolutely more seasons to come. So that is super exciting news because I love, love, love the looks of this. Now, once I finish this, I'm not sure I'll be ready for another town with houses, but you know, I am loving the seasonal. And again, not to have the seasons all up in the house, but I just love the colors of each season, and I love being able to celebrate those seasons that way. And no, again, for some reason, I haven't cut this one down. That's it. That's my goal this week, is I'm cutting, look at why I haven't cut the extra fabric off yet. I don't know. Everything else is all cut down, but this one's not. There it is. Now I know this is not how it works, but I'm always like, oh, this would be a cool screenshot, but that's not how it works with YouTube. It's by how much time. But 18 count fallen leaf from To Die For fabrics. Now, what did I do? I did completely this, I finished up this tree, I worked on this pumpkin, and then I came down to that pumpkin. So I was really working down here. I think I have figured out, you know how I've been flipping back and forth, but I do think once I finish that, I'll come back to this tree, but I'm working my way diagonally into that corner. I am using all of the DMCs that they gave as suggestions. There are obviously variegated overdyed flosses in this, but I didn't use them. I chose to go just the DMC route, which I love, so I'm not upset with. And I am super excited. Now, once Shamrock is done with the 25/7, I have decided that this will be my next 25/7 piece. I think, one, it'll get me motivated, and I say this jokingly because I have to. I don't have to stitch anything. So it's not, you know, on any given day, if I could just basically like, no, I'm not doing it. So I don't feel like that word is, or that phrase is negative, because it's not. For me, it's just a nice motivator because I know I'm getting close to the end. But if I know that I'm going to be picking it up every day, it will get me motivated, because I hit that little, you know, speed bump where I wasn't sure I wanted to, you know, I was going to get put away and then be put away for a while, but I'm so close. So I think this would really benefit from the 25/7 idea. So that's the next one that will go 25/7 as soon as Shamrock's finished. So he could be finished as much as this week. So hopefully this will be going over. And if they are doing more, I sure would like to get this one finished. I certainly wouldn't start another season until this one's finished, but it would be a lot of fun to have this one done. So that's where it is. I know of at least one other of you who are stitching it. I don't know if anybody else is. Let me know if you are and where you're at. And would you stitch more than one of the seasons? Okay. So that is Autumn Towne. I wonder if they're going to go in order and like do winter next, or they have a whole other idea. Now I have a new start for my month of October. You know, I'm trying to do my pumpkin stitches for my pumpkin, what is it? Pumpkin birthday sal. I don't even know the name of my own hashtag. As a reminder, that is anything that's pumpkin or pumpkin adjacent. So it can be an actual pumpkin, pumpkin floss, pumpkin fabric, something that goes with pumpkin. You know the drill. I'm easy that way. The very first one I had to do, and this one basically is taking the idea of floss that reminds me of pumpkin. And that's why I chose this one, because there's no actual pumpkins in it. It is Carolyns Balloons, Autumn, another piece that will be seasonal. And I have another one that I'm stitching that's also seasonal. So you can see I like that whole seasonal idea. And like I said, the colors here are pumpkin-esque. So that's how it fits into my stitch along. I love it. Look at that. So this is done on an 18 count car wash from Fortnight Fabrics. And yes, that, well, maybe not 100% as stark as what you're seeing, but this is one of their more modeled fabrics that I have gotten in their fabric of the month this year. This might have been, I wonder if this was January. I don't remember now what month it was, but it was one of their early ones. And since then, quite a few of their pieces are beautiful with variations of, this is the Groovy Gradients Club, but they haven't been this stark with the different colors. But this one I thought was perfect for this because I wanted it to look like the balloons were, so you have the balloons flying over the little town. So I really wanted that idea of the balloons in the sky on a beautiful day where there's some fluffy clouds floating around against the blue sky. And I got quite a bit done. I think this is going to go pretty quickly. When I got tired of doing balloon counting, then I went and I did some of the little elements. Now I am using the DMC suggestions. There is, I don't have the effect. There's obviously, if you look at it and look at some of the pieces, there is overdyed flosses here in this. And really, if I look at it, okay, a couple of these leaves look kind of cool, but I'm not invested enough to try to make those specific colors in that part of the floss. I think it's fine. So that's where it is. And I really enjoyed this week. It's a Jan Hicks pattern, and it is wonderful. This is my second Jan Hicks, and I really love her charting. It is lovely stitching her designs. So if you've thought about it, I was watching somebody who just got this, somebody this week just got this pattern in, and I don't remember who. I don't remember. And if you want to see it finished, go to Carolyn, the original Carolyn that inspired this C Zook stitch, and you can see she recently finished it. It might be her actual screenshot picture. If not, it's titled A Finish, I believe. I don't know if it was last week or the week before, but you can see it, and it's beautiful all the way through. So that's mine. And I will definitely, this most likely will come out again next week because I really enjoyed it. I loved the colors and I love the design, and I just think it's a lot of fun. Alrighty. Now I have been every week keeping up with this, and I don't think it'll get finished before Halloween, and then I'm not sure if it'll get a little bit of a break. We'll see. We'll see. Once I get the moon done. Now you know what I'm talking about when I mention moon. I think it may go faster. So this is Midnight Watch from Blackbird Designs. And if I do this, forget about the alphabet, and then pretend the border's not there. And that's what I'm stitching. The cat, the moon, and the house, plus the floral and the stars, all that. So that's what it will look like. Well, sort of, because I'm not stitching it on fabric like that. There we go. This moon, oh my goodness. This is 18 count Bewitched from To Die For Fabrics. It is a beautiful, rich, deep purple with very slight, almost blue-like pieces in it. So if you needed something that was a deep purple, but a little bit of lighter shades with it, this is gorgeous. I am doing the DMC, and so the moon, as I've mentioned before, is a blend of 2 different DMCs, and I'm loving how it looks when I look at that. So most of my time stitching that this week was moon, because I'm really trying to get that done. I feel like once that's done, definitely things will go faster. I did start to stitch down here, and it's hard to see the top of the roof. I have a little bit more here, and that's the only color that I'm using that is really having trouble coming through. Well, the bats too, but they're completely covered by moon, so you'll be able to see them fine. I'm thinking because we have the stars in the roof and then the house down here, I think the roof will be fine. I did change, and it's in the description box, I'm almost sure, the green, because that didn't show up very well on this fabric. But otherwise, I think I will use all of the DMC suggestions. Now there is a stitch along for this. Sarah Stitches and I are stitching this, and you are welcome to join us. The hashtag is bbdmidnightwatchsal. And that the hashtag, whenever I have a hashtag, it's linked down below if you're not 100% sure what I said, or there are times when I flip them. I remember when Carla from Carla Being Crafty she has her February stitch along every year, and for the life of me, I kept wanting to make it something different. So you'll have to go by what's written down below, because I do double check myself. Once in a while, I'm not sure what comes out of my mouth. So there we go. And I think I'll be drawn to this at least through October. I would like to see some progress. Like I said, I think it'll be tight. I think at this point, my goal, if I can get the moon finished by October, I'll be doing really great. I think that's a more realistic goal than trying to finish the whole piece. Not unless I was just doing that as a focus piece and not stitching other things. All right, I have 2 more pieces to show you. This one I started last week, and I just so enjoy it. This is Jardin Prive, and it is the Summer Quaker. And I'm stitching it monochromatic, and I'm using the same thread that I used for spring, and that would be DMC 823. And then I'm just changing the fabric. And there we go. This is 18 count. I need to look real quick. My Sunshine from Bestitchme. Isn't it beautiful? And this is one of those colors, this was a fabric of the month. You get it and you say, oh gosh, what in the world am I going to stitch on this? But then I stopped and thought about it, and right away it made sense. This deep navy blue looks beautiful on the yellow. Blue and yellow are a nice combination anyway. Oops, something just, I heard the noise behind me. Everything's gonna fall down. But, and so as soon as I thought that, and I put the floss against it, I said, yep, how beautiful. You know, this is a summer one. Why not have it a beautiful summer sky, sunshine-ish color? And this time around, I worked on this. And yeah, that is over 500 stitches. I know. Oop, I have some fluff on there. It is amazing sometimes when you start thinking, you're like, there's no way that would be more than X number of stitches. And then you get going and you're like, wow, it really, truly is. So this one, again, there's never a specific plan with it. I enjoy having at least one monochromatic piece in my rotation. This came up, it was a few days ago, and I wanted to stitch and relax, but I didn't want to have to think about color changes and stopping and starting colors. And this was the one I grabbed. I said, absolutely, let's do some of this. I also like the monochromatic if I'm in a car stitching, because again, you're not fiddling around with different colors. It's just the one. All right, and, oh, I'm not gonna put that. I'm just gonna put this on the ground because that whole thing is gonna fall. Okay, so the very last one is also a new start. It is also, ironically, it's pumpkin. There is a pumpkin in it, but it was the fabric. I wanted to show you again that it doesn't have to be so literal as a literal pumpkin. It's the fabric that I chose. And this again was a fabric that I didn't necessarily know what I wanted to do. It is going to be monochromatic. So now I guess I have 2 in my rotation. But this is from Heart and Hand, Ye Old Crow Sampler. Now, for somebody who doesn't stitch samplers, I have this one. The Summer Quaker is one. And then Midnight Watches got the alphabet as well. I'm not stitching that. I have to say, those of you who stitch samplers, God bless you. Stitching this alphabet, so I'm stitching the alphabet for the Summer Quaker, and I'm started with the alphabet on this one, and I'm already tired of letters. They're easy, and they're both monochromatic, so it's not even like that's an issue. But I don't think I could stitch letters all the time. All right, let's fold this over. Yeah, this is bright. It's probably as bright as it's looking. This is, as you can see, this is a printed fabric. This is from Dove Stitch. And I meant to check, but I am 99% sure it is pumpkin spice. I will check before I put it in the description box. But again, like I said, I'm almost sure it's pumpkin spice. You can see it's white on the back. I am using Anchor Black for this. I think in here it had said, well, it was charted in weeks onyx, but then, you know, obviously it also gave you the 310 or the anchor number. This will be, I think, a fairly quick one. This one was just started near the end of this week, and I very quickly got whatever stitches I wanted on it. And I think even beyond the letters, I think it's going to go quick, especially because it's just the one color. I do have one question, so let me look real quick here. These design elements are Smyrna crosses, and they show you how to do it in here. Now, this was done on a larger count. What was this done on? It was done on a 32 count. So it suggests that you do the crosses over 6 holes. So does that mean, if I'm doing it on the 18, that I just count 3 holes? I'm assuming. If I'm wrong in that, because if I tried to do 6, it would be huge. I'm assuming I just half it. If anybody wants to confirm that, that would be great. I'd appreciate it. But I think that's what I'm going to do. And there it is. I think this will be fun. This will probably just be a scrapbook piece. I remember picking it up because I thought it was cute, and I like the monochromatic. But again, I don't necessarily know if this would end up going out for the season. So that's it. That's all my stitching. Yep. When you watch me, you get a lot of stitching. Not gonna lie, there's not a lot else, to be honest with you. So as a reminder for October, so many of you said in the comments that you're going to join me. The plans are the hashtag pumpkin birthday sal. Stitch on anything that is pumpkin or pumpkin-esque, adjacent, however you want to think about it. And I was thinking, if you have something that you're stitching specifically for the stitch along, if you want to send me a picture of what you're stitching, and I think it'd be fun to do it for this month. This was started by Janet Jabber, and that's Janet's thing, which is so much fun. But she just inspired me for this month with the stitch along. Maybe I'll show some pictures of what everybody might be stitching for the stitch along, so you have some sort of ideas of what people have chosen. So if you want to, you don't have to, it's fine. But I would, if nothing else, tell me what it is. And if, you know, I don't have to show it if you don't want me to. But I would really like to know what you're stitching for the month of October and when you're joining in on the stitch along. So that's it. Okay, shopping. I have one piece of shopping, or one place of shopping. I placed an order with 1, 2, 3 stitch. Why did I go with 1, 2, 3? I know I wanted the needles that I picked up, and I always pick up Anchor Black when I do that. So I think because I've got some sort of ideas of things I want to do in the future, I wanted to pick those up. And then I went through my list, and they had my Autumn Quaker, so I think that was part of it. One of you had suggested, when I was talking about switching over from Pat's, because I always use the Pat's needles, and I had gotten some of the Peacemakers. One of you had said in your comments how every time you place an order, whether it's 123 Stitch or other places, you throw in a thing of needles, just so that, because I don't know what I do, but I lose them. I have no idea how I do that. I mean, they're attached to a magnet, but I lose them. So I thought that was a great idea. So I picked up some of my 26 Peacemakers needles, and I still have some pats, but in one area I'm stitching my dog. I stitch my dog in one area, I stitch other things in other areas, and I have the Peacemakers on that needle minder. And I really enjoy them, I have to say. I'm liking them. I'm liking it quite a bit. So I picked up some more of those. I did pick up some more Anchor. It's already in its container. I have about 4 of these little drawers, and I just throw the anchors in there. So I have it. And then I picked up some patterns. Like I said, the Jardin Prive, the Autumn Quaker, is out. It actually has a couple pumpkins, but look at the squirrel. I love it. This one will most likely be stitched in some sort of peachy tone with the 823. So that was the first one. And then I am trying to collect all of the Days of Christmas from Hello from Liz Matthews, and I hadn't gotten the 4th day. It must have been out of stock wherever I was ordering them before. So I picked that one up. And as I stitch these, I will stitch not the tree, but the other part. So I picked that one up. And I think my goal with these is to find all different various shades of green and stitch them on greens. If it looks like, I'll pull like flosses and see what they look like. These 2 are still in their containers because they're tight in the plastic, so I didn't want to take it out. I'm stitching that Barbara Anna, and I've seen other people's Barbara Annas, and I love them so much that I did pick up a couple. One is Witchy Dreams. I thought that looked so much fun. And then Dreaming Mrs. Claus. There are a few more that are on my wish list that are just not in stock. I may end up getting the digital version of them down the road, depending on how soon I'd want to start them. And then I did pick up, I've never stitched on fiber on a whim, and 123 Stitch has it now. And this is called, what is this called? Night Sky. It's 18 count. And I want to say one of the, is it Silver Creek, the Santa, the Flying Santa, might be stitched on this. And I said, well, I would love to try some fiber on a whim. I really liked how it looked, and I'm always looking for a nice kind of gray. And so I said, oh, I'll give it a try. So I did pick up a piece of that. And that's it. That's what I got for shopping. I'm trying to think. Fortnight fabrics, I want to say their fabric of the month went out. And I know Leslie from Under the Sea is a little bit late, so that hasn't come out yet. I did stop my Color and Cotton fabric of the month. I had done that from quite some time, and I decided maybe it was time to maybe try something else. So I did go ahead, because several of people that I watch have really enjoyed Grace Notes fabrics. So I thought, well, maybe I'll try their fabric of the month. So at some point this month, I will be getting the October. So I'm super excited to see. Every time somebody has shown one of their fabrics, it's been beautiful. And I keep saying, oh, I want to try some. So I said, well, you know what? I've changed out of one fabric of the month, so I'll go in another. And speaking of fabric of the months, if you are interested in Fortnight fabrics, so every year they do different ones, and they announced in their last video what the clubs will be for next year. And if you're in one club, you don't roll over to any, you have to re-sign up. I think October 15th are the sign-ups for, they start for next year. And one, two, I want to say they have 2 clubs and an ornament. I don't remember. And then they're not doing an Opals club. They're going to do more of those in their Facebook pages, like buy it now pages. I haven't decided if I'm going to re-up for next year. I'll think about it. because again, there's like other people that are so fun that I kind of want to spread things out a little bit. But if you are interested and you want to see, they gave some examples of each club so you can see a few months and see if there's something you're interested in. I would suggest you go to their last video and it explains it there. Okay, so that's it for shopping. We have to talk about giveaways. This week's giveaway is from Stitching with the Housewives. It's the Trick or Treat pattern right here. And I asked you to say the word, oh, there's the plastic it goes in. I asked you to say the word spice, right? Yeah, that's it. And we have a mixture of liking and not liking pumpkin spice. And for those of you who don't, you are not alone, because quite a few people said they're not a big fan of it. I don't necessarily get pumpkin spice drinks. I like Republic of Tea teas, and I had seen in the last catalog there was it was a pumpkin turmeric, which would be interesting. Obviously, the turmeric has got a strong flavor. I thought about that one, but I didn't end up getting it. I'm really still liking my cranberry hibiscus, so that's been my fall. And there is a cider tea. Now, it's not a heavy, strong flavor, but it's a very nice, subtle one because I got a sample of it. So, you know, when they send you the catalog, there's usually a sample in there. And it was quite nice, actually. Again, though, very, very subtle, not like a strong in-your-face apple cider. All right, I've talked enough and mixed around. So our winner is Debbie Sis. Congratulations. You have won the Trick or Treat from Stitching with the Housewives. So if you could get back to me with your address, I'll get that out to you. And I do have, I know a few of you are waiting at this point for giveaways. The week got away from me before that, and then as I talk about life, I wasn't going to do anything during the course of this week because it would have floated away. That gives you an example of what life was like this week. But I do have everything. It's over by the computer. Everything is already weighed and packaged. I send everything. I do send everything with it's first class package, so it does have a computer printed label. So everything's over there to start printing out labels and stuff. So hopefully I will get those out to you soon. But Debbie, if you get back to me, I will get that out to you. Alrighty, so this week's giveaway, because we're going with the autumn sort of tones, and there was one color I wanted, but it was out of stock. So when I ordered at 123 Stitch, I did pick up a couple of flosses. They're Classic Colorworks. And let's see if I have, no, this is a plastic, but there's white against it. I have two colors that I ended up picking up. What are they called? Fool's Gold, which is the top one, and Just Rust. I thought those would be lots of fun if you would like to do some autumn themed patterns. They certainly could be for other things as well. But there was one that was more pumpkin-y, but it was out of stock. I would have gotten that one if I could have. So if you would like me to put your name in the bowl for winning these two pieces of Classic Colorworks, just use the word gold in reference to our Fool's Gold. So gold, G-O-L-D. And I will pick a winner next week. The Fool's Gold has got a nice variegation. The, what's this one? Just Rust has a subtler variegation. So it's not quite, although if you look in the light, it does go a little bit light to dark, but not quite as obvious as the Fool's Gold. So you get a combo, one that's much more variegated color-wise, and one that's a little bit more subtle. So that'll be, oh, I could have just put it, oh, there you go. That would have looked nice against that. There, you can really see them there. All right, so that is all the stitching stuff. If that's all you were here for, then I hope you have a fantastic week, and I will see you next time. See, once I finish with the stitching part, there's not a lot of other things very often. But that's good because you're here hopefully for stitching, right? So life. Most of my week was washed away. I mean, literally. So I saw you on Friday, and then Friday night, you know, the storm was moving up the coast, and Friday night into Saturday, I thought this was going to be it. they said, okay, it'll be heavy rains and winds Friday night into Saturday morning, and at some point in Saturday it'll clear up. Well, we originally were supposed to go up to see Megan. Megan was doing a scrimmage. She plays for Bryn Mawr, but the little mini scrimmagey tournament was at Swarthmore, so we would have gone there to SWAT. But we woke up and the wind, it was pouring, and the wind was basically, you could see the water being pushed along the road and windy. So, I took a little video and I sent it to Meg. I was like, Meg, we can't. And she totally understood. And Delaware, I'm finding, is very flat. So it floods a little bit more than I'm used to what Connecticut was. Not that parts of Connecticut, I mean, by rivers and stuff, can definitely flood. But here it's much flatter. So we didn't want to take the chance, because there are places on the main Route 1 that sometimes are closed because of flooding. So we didn't go, and unfortunately this was just a scrimmage, so they didn't have it on TV. If it was in season, it might have been on TV to watch, but oh well. So we kind of hunkered in, and then later in the day it stopped, and I'm not sure the sun came out, but it cleared. We actually took a quick trip, because we live close enough to the beach, about 10 minutes away. We said, let's just go get some fresh air. Thank goodness we did that. And basically just, walked and kind of, along the beach, and the waves were coming in quite a bit. There was heavy, strong waves and the wind, but it wasn't super cold. It was nice. And I mean, there was no flooding at that point. So it wasn't like we were out there when we shouldn't have been. But it was nice to get some fresh air, just get out for half an hour and then whatever. So that's what we did. And little did I know. So this thing, basically, it went away and then it came back, and it came back as a nor'easter. Now, normally, living in New England, when you hear the word nor'easter, it's always like, oh no, that's snow and lots and lots and lots of snow. Well, they can also be nor'easters with rain as well. And this is exactly what that was. So it started back raining, I don't know if it was Saturday night into Sunday, and it didn't stop raining until Wednesday afternoon. And literally, and pouring, wind gusts, the whole bit. Now, we were lucky here, we didn't flood, but there were definitely areas. There was areas down from us is Dewey Beach, and that flooded, I think, quite a bit. And in fact, the whole Route 1 had to be closed because there was flooding on the main road. I hear Bethany Beach floods quite a bit. There were parts of Rehoboth, they showed the waves had come up all the way past the dunes coming onto the boardwalk. So obviously there was some flooding there. And then I didn't see any pictures from Lewis to know up that way, but it just wouldn't stop. And I honestly, it was kind of like one of those, is it ever going to stop raining? And of course, you're not going to go out for very long because you're getting soaking wet, and if the wind's gusting, and luckily, in the end, apparently we were in a drought before this, and we received, because some people in our neighborhood have the little water meter thingies, between 8 to 10 inches of rain in those 4 days. So apparently the drought is basically done, except for a small area around us, which I don't understand how I can get almost 10 inches of rain and still be in a drought. But I know as the weekend went on and we kept getting rain, they were concerned that the wind would blow trees down. Within our area here, all of the wires are underground, but there's older wiring, just right, once you turn out of our neighborhood. So I don't know how our area is hooked up to other electricity areas or whatever. So I wasn't sure, if power went down in that area, if it would affect us at all. But luckily we were able to keep power, and we didn't have any flooding that some of the other areas did. So that was good. It was just by Wednesday afternoon, when it finally stopped raining, it was such a relief. And I just sat outside for half an hour, cleaned off one of the chairs in the front there, and just wanted some fresh air, because I was so cooped in for so long. but I just wanted some fresh air. And then yesterday and today have been beautiful. I think we're getting a cold front. So yesterday and today will be in the 70s, but I think it's going to be high 50s, low 60s tomorrow. But no rain in sight for something like 10 days at least. So I'm thrilled with that. I will take it. Even if it's nice, brisk 60s, 50s, 60s, I'll take it. I just want some sunshine and some brightness and no rain. So I didn't really do much of anything this week. We were pretty much housebound, which is probably why I touched as many things as I did. I had a couple errands I had to run, but whenever I went out, I came in again as soon as I possibly could because I just didn't want to be out there for so long, or as long. But so I may not get as much stitching done this week, which is fine. If it means I can actually get some fresh air, I'm okay with that. And that's it. That's all I've got. So we're going to come in under an hour this week, which is, you know, gives you time to go watch some other stitching friends as well. So as usual, I hope you are well. I hope you are safe. I hope things are going okay wherever you happen to be. And until next time, happy stitching.